Welcome to today's explainer. Look, if you're thinking about starting a commercial sheep farm from scratch, you're in exactly the right place. Today, we're channeling the wisdom of veteran farmers to walk you through a rock-solid, professional business plan. Think of me as your mentor for the next few minutes, giving you the exact advice you need to succeed as a first-time livestock entrepreneur. Let's get right into it. Let's start by defining exactly what commercial sheep farming actually means. Essentially, it's rearing these incredibly hardy animals specifically to build a profitable enterprise. Now, while the textbook definition includes milk, any veteran farmer will tell you that commercial milk production from sheep is usually not the easiest or most profitable route for a beginner. So, if we're talking real profit, our focus is going to be squarely on meat and wool. So, you might be looking at a patch of barren land or just itching to start a farming business, asking yourself, why sheep? Why not cattle or goats? Well, it really comes down to the incredible return on investment and a surprisingly low barrier to entry.
Here is our roadmap. We're going to move step by step through 6 crucial phases: the opportunity, the foundation, infrastructure, daily operations, risk management, and finally, growth and marketing.
All right, phase 1, the opportunity, and why this business offers such high rewards for so little friction. Here's the beauty of sheep. They inherently keep your startup costs way down. They cost a fraction of what a cattle operation requires to get off the ground, and they need significantly less labor. Plus, they act like natural landscapers. They'll clear your fields of weeds without destroying your trees. And honestly, the best part for your bottom line is that they thrive by turning low-quality, local grazing grass into valuable meat and wool. Couple that with frequent births, and your herd is going to grow rapidly. Moving right along to phase 2, the foundation. This is all about setting up your farm for the long haul. You have to take your setup steps logically. Any seasoned farmer will tell you to first select a location with a steady source of clean water and plenty of greens. You also need to think like a modern business owner, meaning you must secure good transportation access for marketing and rapid medication for emergencies. And listen, whatever you do, never cut corners on your starter flock. Always purchase healthy, high-quality breeds from reputable, local sources or famous farms. And that brings us to your first major strategic decision: matching your breed to your specific business goal. You really have to decide right out of the gate whether you want to tap into the fast-growing, highly popular meat market or if you're aiming for specialized wool production. Not all breeds do well in all climates, so you absolutely need to tailor this choice to your environment and your desired end product. Okay, phase 3, infrastructure. Let's talk about building a safe haven without breaking the bank. The good news here is you do not need high-end real estate for sheep, which is amazing for keeping startup costs low. But you do need to remember one very important number, and that's 20. Every adult sheep requires about 20 square feet of floor space. So if you're starting with a flock of 10, a simple 10 by 20 foot structure is totally fine. They don't need a mansion, just enough room to stretch out. Now let's look at the vertical space. For your shelter's roof, you need to go at least 6 feet high from the floor. This gives them proper clearance, sure, but more importantly, it allows for adequate air circulation. Beyond just the dimensions, your low-cost housing has to master a few basic elements. A good ventilation system and plenty of natural light are completely non-negotiable. And pay close attention to this part. You absolutely must implement a proper drainage system inside. Keeping that house clean and dry prevents hoof rot and is literally your very first line of defense against disease. Phase 4 is daily operations. Let's get into the feeding and daily care required for optimal health and growth. You can massively minimize your recurring maintenance expenses by utilizing local grazing. But if you want maximum growth, you have to be intentional with your daily feeding routine. You need to ensure they get high-quality grasses, plants, and corns. And never, ever underestimate hydration. Adequate, clean, and fresh water must be available on demand to keep your animals productive. That brings us to phase 5, risk management. It's time to tackle the harsher realities of livestock farming. Out in the field, you are facing 2 major dual threats: predators and disease. Make no mistake, if you aren't prepared for these, they will absolutely decimate your business and wipe out your entire investment. So, how do we mitigate those risks? First off, you need to build strong wire or woven fences around your pastures to keep the flock in and the predators out. Second, you must adhere to a strict, timely vaccination schedule to prevent diseases. And third, Act like a pro. Establish a close relationship with a local veterinarian. You want them on speed dial so you have expert help the second an issue pops up. Finally, we hit phase 6, growth and marketing. This is where we talk about scaling your enterprise to actually generate sales revenue. A true veteran farmer knows that you don't just raise animals and then sit around wondering who's going to buy them later. You have to determine your local livestock marketing strategies before you even start. Figure out exactly where those local buyers are. Then, to maximize your sales revenue, formulate a plan to expand international markets, but only once your scale and facilities are properly established. As your herd grows, maximizing your profit means shifting to modern scientific rearing rules. To ensure that rapid herd growth we talked about, you need specific breeding practices. You've got to master pregnancy and lamb care, proper weaning techniques, dipping for health management, and strict protocols for culling and identification. And underlying all of this, the absolute necessity of keeping meticulous farm records.
I absolutely love this piece of veteran advice from our sources. It says, read a lot of books, visit some farms practically in your area, gather experience, and finally, do it. Basically, don't go it alone. Find a successful local farm, ask a ton of questions, secure a mentor, and bridge that gap between theory and real-world practice.
So, armed with this foundational knowledge, a clear understanding of how to minimize costs, and a realistic plan for revenue, the opportunity is clearly right there for the taking. The real question is, will you step up and be the shepherd of your own new business, or are you just going to follow the herd? What's the very first step you're going to take today?